scenario of events would be King Henry VIII wanting to divorce his wife and marry another woman. Now, this situation didn't come about altogether with this scenario that King Henry VIII had found himself in. England and the people had been wrestling with this for a long time. This was just the head of the wrestle. This is just the climax of the wrestle. They had had enough. And Henry says, I'm just going to go for it. He had counsel. This woman had counseled him, and he was going to do something audacious, which was split from the Roman Catholic Church. All these monarchies, all these systems were based out of your faith in God. This is an old world, even into the new world way of doing things. It is only until now that we really don't see that so much. But like when Jesus came forth and he's dealing with the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the elders and the chief priests of his time, he would find himself caught into this same type of element where you have people within the spiritual system, and the spiritual system is controlling the entire worldview of the people. You could say it had been going on all along from, Joseph to the end of the Old Testament. But at the time that Jesus comes forth, we see individuals that are not of this house placating in roles that were only for people of the house. And we see the laws of God being expanded upon to suit the needs of capitalistic systems. So when we look at England and what they were going through when King Henry VIII decided to split from England, we somewhat see something similar. We see Rome controlling the nations. And we see people protesting this level of control. You couldn't buy land. You couldn't do anything without the green light from Rome. And Rome is thousands of miles away. And so we have this tumultuous time going on where many of the people are looking to break away from Rome, then many of the people are not. You have the political system, the king at the time, looking to spearhead this campaign of breaking away from the church and establishing England as its own monarchy. Establishing the Church of England as its own independent, sovereign church. Not dependent upon any help from any other tentacle or any other spiritual tentacle, let's just say that. This in itself would allow England to act as its own independent nation, which in turn at the time was unheard of. So you could see why people would really be for it. They would be definitely looking to back it because it meant independence, and it meant also that a regular person could come into a system and make a powerful name for themselves, whereas before the doors were completely closed. You had to be part of that Roman Catholic system, which was thousands of miles away, in order to partake of it. Now we're bringing it more so to a local level, a localized level, where loyalty and camaraderie reign supreme. And it is definitely about who you know. And it's definitely about what ideology and philosophies you align to in order to garner yourself a seat in this upcoming system. So I said all of that to give you an idea of the backdrop and what's within reach. So if you were a regular person, you had a really good opportunity at hand. You could make a monumental name for yourself, change your life overnight. You would go from a farmer, a peasant, to a noble or a gentry immediately. And so because of this, a lot of treachery is going on. You had so many dynamics going on at this time because the church in itself did not want to give up its power. The Roman Catholic Church did not want to give up its power. And so they were persecuting these Protestant people, these people that were protesting this dynamic. And they're persecuting these people openly. And you had to really be quiet about what you thought and what you felt was what was the right thing to do, because it could cost you a lot. You could be unalived for it. It was a very pivotal time in the history of England. So there was a lot of secrecy. I consider it as the time where, when you were, many of you don't know this, but when I was a kid, we had regular TVs. We didn't have cable. We had antennas on our TVs. And at night, if you went to sleep and you woke up and it was really late at night, you would see a lot of fuzz on your TV screen. Just black and white fuzz, just fuzz. Because there was no TV show airing and the networks were all closed. So it's this static fuzz on the screen. And it looked like, if you really watched it, it looked like the black and the white pieces of fuzz were all fighting for dominance on this screen. And it never seemed to be one that would be able to overtake the other. Well, that's what was going on at this time in England. Fuzz. Fighting and vying for position. Openly and indirectly. Because everybody was vying for these positions. And it wasn't about talent as much. A lot of times it was about relationship. A lot of times it was about who you're loyal to, relationship, and philosophy, and audaciousness. So if you have two very talented people vying for the same thing, and they're both loyal and they're both audacious, who gets chosen? It became extremely treacherous. And treacherous is the only word you can use to describe it, because treachery shows a premeditated, well thought out scheme, plan of action to betray an individual for a particular result. So if you were living in this particular era and within that particular region, you would find yourself not being able to trust people. You would make it seem as if you trust people. You would be polite to people, gregarious, outgoing, openly speak well to people in front of other people. But inwardly, you would be watching like a hawk. All the nuances, all the gestures. You want to hear all the rumors. Because in the rumors, in those people that are speaking all of these different things, you find slithers of truth. You are able to gain levels of knowledge that will allow you to have an upper hand in a situation where it's extremely difficult to have one in. I'm bringing these things up because I led with trust.